And there we go, we're live. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. To those of you who were joining us 10 minutes ago, we are very sorry. We've had a few little technical difficulties that have held us back, but we are live now. We are streaming across LinkedIn, across Twitter or X, sorry, I should call it now, and across our YouTube channel as well. So my name is Daniel Evans. I am Chief Executive here at BEC, formerly known as Birmingham Enterprise Community. We are a not-for-profit social enterprise that specialises in supporting entrepreneurs, startups, scale-ups, both with business growth, but also really exciting part of our work is our work around international markets and helping companies to expand internationally, which we're going to go into a little bit later today. I am joined here by my good friend Jorge. Jorge, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Hello to all of you. Hola, ¿cómo están? Good afternoon here and good morning in some other countries. My name is Jorge Loyola. As the title precedes me, I'm trade manager at ProChile. ProChile is a trade and investment office of the Chilean government. Basically, what we do is we support Chilean companies that are willing to export and tackle into the new markets, as well as supporting foreign companies that are interested in investing in Chile with our sister organization called Invest Chile. I'm based in London at the Chilean embassy in the UK, and I'm delighted to be here, Daniel, and to talk more about the event that we're going to be doing in some weeks.
Fantastic. And we've had the pleasure to have known each other for a few years now. That we've done, a few different projects together. Many of which have focused on helping businesses from Latin America to enter the UK. I think what's really exciting for me about this event coming up is it's looking at a bit of the opposite direction as well, is how we get UK companies to explore the Latin American market.
Exactly. I think that it would be very insightful to share a little bit on how we started working together, because it was a pandemic. It was back in 2020 when we were unable to do the events in the way that they used to do, and because of several contacts we got on hold on each other, and we start like working. Just for the audience to get an idea, we have been working with Daniel on several soft landing programs. As a matter of fact, today or yesterday was launched the results of the latest soft landing program that BEC is doing with the British government in the southern continent, Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay. And as part of that, we started getting involved with each other and with the Midlands region. And this event, I would say, it's a nice next step, right, to continue the relation that started in pandemic.
100%. I think we that program was the first time that we had done a kind of program particularly focused on kind of just the Latin American market. And for us, it was well, one, a learning experience to obviously add that into what we were doing, but also just looking at the different types and the real, I guess, innovators that we were seeing across Latin America. So to build on that, I think is super exciting.
It is indeed, because if you think about it, like Midlands and Latin America, they have a lot of similarities. Just to start, when people say America, they tend to refer to United States of America. So normally Latin America, it's been a little bit like back at the top of mind of the people because of this kind of like issue with the name. And then with Midlands, it happens more or less the same, because when you ask someone from Latin America, or at least from my country, to talk about the UK, they of course think specifically in London, and then the other cities comes on a second and third kind of like place. So I think that because of that, we have a lot of similarities and lots of like common challenges that bring us together, and of course can be used as a good opportunity to increase try an investment between our two regions.
100%, 100%. Well, thank you for that introduction. I'm going to add another guest on now, another wonderful lady who we've had the pleasure of working with for the last couple of years. Sandra, welcome to the stream. Please introduce yourself, tell us who you are.
Yes, I'm Sandra Sinico. I'm the CEO of LATAM Scale Up. LATAM Scale Up is a British consultancy that has also a branch in Brazil. And we work very close with startups and scale-ups that want to expand to Europe by having London or Birmingham or Brighton or Cambridge or Manchester as pit stops. And I'm very happy to be here and very happy to do this event with you in order to open more bridges between our region and your region, so Birmingham, which is an amazing city with lots of opportunities and that so many Brazilians don't know yet, and we're trying to make it more visible for everybody here in the country.
100%. And obviously, we've just been kind of having a little bit of a conversation about how obviously I kind of met Jorge, the relationship that we've had in terms of some of the work that we've done on. Obviously, our story, Sandra, in terms of how we've worked together, has followed a bit of a similar trajectory that I think it was accelerated over the pandemic when, we were all kind of couldn't travel and really, it didn't matter if somebody was in Birmingham here or in Sao Paulo, like we could connect with them and have conversations just the same way. And then of course we developed our own kind of program as a bit of a pilot, so the LATAM Global Connection program, which was something that we did between us to look at supporting again more Latin American businesses come to the UK.
Yes, for sure. And now we're on the way to include this Latin American Latin Global Connection program in University of Sao Paulo program in order to get more traction and make it feasible for everybody here that want to expand abroad, whatever the place it is, to understand all the challenges and all the steps that the CEO or the international manager needs to take before expanding abroad. So there is a long journey. This journey is not easy. It takes time, but the Birmingham enterprise community people and mentors are very well prepared to give all the tools that you need in order to prepare and plan yourself to expand abroad.
100%. Yeah. No, it's been great working with you both, really. And I think, looking at it from those kind of different angles, very much, obviously with Sandra, it sat more around that kind of, we're private entities that have been able to do things, bringing in that kind of, I guess, government level perspective and what the embassy networks, both on the British side, so like the Department for Business and Trade teams, but also then on the country specific side, so like where you now sit, Jorge, and looking at how these different elements all work together to really create these pathways that we're trying to help businesses navigate.
Absolutely. And I do really think, hi Sandra, I do really think that companies have, of course, a lot of opportunities to trade between the UK and the region. However, sometimes the challenge is, like managers and especially like entrepreneurs are so overwhelmed by the day-to-day challenges, which is of course understandable, that it's sometimes hard to tackle or to navigate the ecosystem because there are a lot of acronyms, there are a lot of institutions that at the end of the day, they do like very similar things. So I think that this event and like the fact that Daniel working at a Birmingham accelerator, Sandra at a British and Brazilian, and I work at the civil service. It kind of like helps people, especially if you're wanting to come and to join our events, to get a little bit of a fast stream to understand what is the role of each player and how can you leverage on the different programs, initiatives, and funds available for not only for Latin American companies to tackle into the West Midlands, but also for West Midlands companies to land in our region.
Yes, and there's a lot of opportunities, not only regarding the opportunities in the ground, like countries like Brazil that have 220 million inhabitants, lots of things, lots of challenges. Chile also, Colombia, Peru, etc., that have so many challenges, and there is lots to explore. And the panelists of our event also will bring up the experience that they had while coming to Birmingham or expanding from Birmingham to Brazil or Latin America.
Yeah. No, it's I think that, as I said, fascinating for us to have worked with obviously some really great Latin American businesses and help them look at the UK markets. This next stage of kind of going the other way and exploring, as you said, some very big markets. I think total across Latin America. You mentioned the number for Brazil, but it's kind of 600-700 million population across the region. Lots of fantastic businesses, lots of innovation, lots of really great stuff to really get their teeth into. So let's maybe then do a bit of a deeper dive into the event and what we've lined up. So to give, I guess, the overall context is obviously this event sits within Birmingham Tech Week. So Birmingham Tech Week is an initiative ran by Tech West Midlands, which was Birmingham Tech, led by a fantastic guy, Yanis Mouth, who had set that up and had started to work on it. Well, this would be the, I think, 5th iteration. So the 5th time that Birmingham Tech Weeks ran. Really born out of his own frustrations of seeing that we had some fantastic things happening here in Birmingham, the West Midlands, but kind of no spotlight on it. Obviously, London Tech Week, who I know both of you are both regular attenders of, has held that kind of spotlight for a long time. Yanis had done a lot of work to help them and thought, well, why aren't we doing something to really showcase Birmingham and what we've got? So back in 2019, obviously ran the first one, expected it to be a couple of little events, and I think in total they had somewhere around 70 events in the first year, which was massive. About 5,000 people attending. We ran an event during the very first one. It was probably about the 3rd event that we had ran, so we were very, very early days, probably like 7 months into Beck then. So a little bit further along now. So really, it looks to put that kind of global spotlight on the West Midlands, which I think why this event is important, but also really intriguing to have as part of the agenda for this year's Tech Week. Simply because, again, if we want to put Birmingham and the West Midlands on that global stage, we need to run global events. And this event being run was a collaboration between, again, organisations from different countries, audience from different countries, that sort of thing. I think really sets a mark in terms of where we want to get to and achieve. You mentioned, Sandra, earlier on around that awareness of Birmingham and the West Midlands. The amount of times that I'll be in a conversation and working with an entrepreneur and that have heard of Birmingham because of the Peaky Blinders. They're like, oh, Peaky Blinders.
Exactly.
So the essence of potential to put that name out there is there. They perhaps aren't aware of the tech scene and what's happening and some of the great opportunities. So using that as a kind of foot in through the door and events like this to spread the word further is really exciting for me.
Yes, and I would say that people that are going to attend the event, they are going to connect with the 4th largest economy in the world. So Latin America now, together with the Caribbean area, is the 4th biggest economy in the world. So this is something to explore. And so there are many different cultures point of view and different behaviors, etc. But I think it's worthy to explore a little bit because there are
Yeah.
lots of opportunities.
And in the same way that you were talking about Peaky Blinders, I'm laughing because it's true. I've been to different events and meetings. I think that some of them we went together, and that's kind of like the first reference. And the same happened to Latin America. I think that traditionally we have been seen as a region which is a big exporter on primary goods, which is true. But right now there are a lot of things happening in our region. For example, in Chile, the government had signed a huge deal in terms of the promotion of green hydrogen, and how can we help the transition of the grid towards a more green one. So this is something that different governments are like working very closely. In Colombia, for example, or in Argentina, there is a huge industry and creative industry. So this is already happening there. Mexico, it's where, and along with Brazil, is where most of the scale-ups are going from Latin America to explode and to break the market. So I think that it's important to be aware of that, and that's mainly the main purpose of this event. And I think that one of the main difference is, one thing is to have Daniel or me that I work for a government talking about it, but another thing is to have the protagonists of that journey, like entrepreneurs that have been able to jump from Latin America to the UK to tell the story. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's really, and again, that's a bit I'm really excited about, is we've got, a really great looking at some of the both, as you said, in terms of the speakers, which obviously we'll go into the panels a little bit in a second, but also the people that have signed up. So obviously not just British-based or UK companies, but also, Latin American companies who have been in the market here for a while, some that are just beginning to explore the market, some representatives from organisations, who have strong presence in Latin America or represent countries in Latin America. So I think that, again, setting that floor of, one, looking at how we tie those closer relations in, we've kind of got that audience there. But second, for businesses here who really want to seriously take a look at these markets, this is a great way to kind of fast track your connections in there. It's saying, right, I want to enter Brazil or Chile or Argentina. Well, likeliness is there's going to be somebody in the room from one of those markets who can really help you to grasp and understand that. So let's start at the top. So tell us, Jorge, first about the kind of introduction that we've got.
Perfect. So the main idea of each event is to start talking about, or to set the tone, let's say, for the people to have an idea or an outlook of the region. Okay. So for that, we're going to be having our wonderful friend Christina Even Turner. She's the Latin America and the Caribbean specialist from the Department of Business and Trade. Basically, is the link or the connector between the team that the Department for Business and Trade have in Latin America and companies here. So her job is basically to spread the word about the different opportunities that are present in the region. So she will be providing the generic view about the region in terms of the biggest economies, where the opportunities are, but more importantly, what are the different opportunities specifically for companies like you that wants to explore the region, and also, and more importantly, how the British government in this case can help you by prospecting the market. So that's going to take more or less the first part for the people to get a sense or to get a glimpse on the region before we dash to the next panel.
Awesome, fantastic. Then, of course, with the two panels, the very first one that we've got being what we've entitled "What It Takes to Seed in Latin America." So, really taking a bit more of a look at the market from the eyes of entrepreneurs that have kind of been there, done it. They know the market. Sandra, why is that really key for businesses to kind of get that first-hand insight?
Yes, you say from UK to Latin America, or the vice versa? From UK
UK to LATAM.
To LATAM, yes. And from UK to LATAM, there are many things to consider, like the difference of the culture, first of all, the bureaucracy, the way to do business in Latin America is completely different. You need to connect with the right people, right? The system is not yet ready to absorb like you have in the UK. So you, no matter your name or your wherever you come from, you can connect with the right hubs. But in Latin America, it's a little bit different because our ecosystem is still growing and organizing itself. So it's very important to have a support, like the support of the British government or the general governmental institutions, but also the consultancies like mine or others that help the entrepreneur to find out the real and real important connections in order to succeed. After you get that, and this would take along 4 or 5 years, or along this time, it's the same in the UK, but you are succeeding in exploring a market that is huge, that is very big. So, any need of lot of innovation. So there are subsidies also from the governments to explore the evolution and to develop your business. But you need to connect with the right people. And also the culture is different because we are more like used to, we like to be connected with humans. We like to approach, to hug, to stay together, and it's a little bit different than in the UK.
Yeah, no, it's totally important. We again, it's what we've kind of said to a lot of businesses from LATAM coming to the UK is the culture and the difference in the way we do business really key. So it doesn't matter which market you go to. That's the same principle as you've got to adapt to those such things. So of course, having people that have been there who understand how to do business in LATAM for that first panel is really key. Moving on, of course, then to the second panel, which I think is really interesting. So the second panel is entitled "Connecting Latin America and the West Midlands." So this is, I guess, taking a bit of a more of a deep dive into what we really think we can do to build closer relationships between Latin America and the West Midlands. So Jorge, I don't know if you want to kind of make some further comments on that.
Sure. I mean, if we start talking about Latin America as a region and by having like an outlook by Cristina, and on the second one, you were here about Latin American companies, Latin American entrepreneurs that are here. They were going to be also talking about, of course, the differences, as Sandra was saying, on the different cultures in Latin America, because they come from different countries, of course. So then on the third one, which is the one that we are talking now, it's okay. We know what opportunities in Latin America are. We kind of like are grasping the different cultures. So how can we, West Midlands and Latin America, work together in order to increase trade and investment? I think that's the main question that panel will be looking to answer. And for that, we have invited a couple of panelists. One of them, for example, is a West Midlands bake company that has been working with Latin America for over 5 years. And not only in one country, they have been working in several countries. So they are very well suited in order to provide that insight from a Birmingham or from a West Midlands company. Likewise, we have the other side of the equation, let's say. We have a Latin American company that has landed in Coventry quite recently. So it offers kind of like a different perspective on not only being a Latin American companies, but being just landing or have just landed in Coventry for, I mean, it's going to be a year. So I think that those perspectives are going to be very interesting to provide some insight or tools or inputs to maybe like work on potential or on new programs that can connect our regions best.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's really key. Is part of why Tech Week again, putting the region on the stage, promoting what we have, but also making sure that we're facilitating debate about how we do that. And of course, we see it at the moment with the UK, and again, we're several years on, but it's still there. This kind of post-Brexit UK, and we talk about that a lot, and almost trying to re-find its place on that global stage. Well, part of the push there was thinking, well, yes, okay, Europe and a lot of the connections and trade there was and still is very important to the UK economy, but almost framing it in our minds that this is also an opportunity um, to explore other parts of the world and connect with other parts. Obviously last year we signed a big trade agreement with Australia. We've joined the transatlantic pact, so again countries like Canada and that sort of thing. But of course, for all of us around here, and we've said the reason several times, we cannot ignore Latin America because there are some phenomenal opportunities for businesses in those countries, and a market that is ready to welcome the world as well. And I think that's something that we've certainly seen with a lot of organisations and people like the two of you who are saying, look, let's do it. Let's look internationally. Let's welcome businesses in. Let's support our own businesses to go out and seek other opportunities in the world. So I think that the timing and everything, what we really want to do is bring all those streams together. And I think, hopefully deliver through this event a lot of value and new connections for everybody attending.
Yes, for sure. And one thing that I learned along these years working with bringing and supporting companies to coming to Brazil or Latin America and the UK is that you need to consider to hear a lot what the locals say. So adapt. So you don't need, you can't come to a new country with a McDonald's that is big and only the way the North Americans does. Even McDonald's here in Brazil is different than the one in the UK and Latin America. So I would say that have your open mind and explore, be curious. This is very, very important in order to build relationships and then learn a lot about the different cultures and then understand the easiest pathway, the most secure one to move forward with your business.
I think that I agree with both of you to the sense, especially with Daniel, when you were saying about the opportunity that the UK has. Of course, we're talking about a post-Brexit era in which Britain needs to find new allies, right? And one of those successes, by doing that, has been the signing of the CPTPP. And Chile is part of that, and Mexico is also part of that, and Peru, and that offers the UK another gateway into the region. So the opportunities are there. And as we were saying at the beginning of the call, we met during pandemic. We started working on pandemic. I met Sandra since like 10 years ago or 7 or more or less. And last year, and we have been working like online through a lot of these years, but it wasn't until last year that we met in person. So what I'm trying to say is that borders and distance are not longer a difficulty in order to run a business. So if you're having a glimpse of Latin America in Birmingham for Birmingham Tech Week, it's not an opportunity that you would like to miss, right? So I cannot stress enough how much we wanted to invite you to join, as Sandra was saying, to be curious and to share a coffee, because sometimes you never know where a conversation is going to land at the end.
Yeah, 100% agree. And then just to add on to that and mentioning that point around coffee, obviously we've included within the event as well, time at the start for coffee, a pastry, a bit of networking, but also a bit of refreshments at the end as well. And of course, those conversations can carry on both on that day. Obviously once if you start speaking to somebody and kind of want to continue that conversation on, the event is just a catalyst to start those conversations. Certainly the bit afterwards is where things get very interesting. So for anybody watching this, either live now through all the technical difficulties that we had at the start, or on playback, because of course, once it's up there, it'll be up on these channels and stay on there. Please do sign up to the event. So through wherever you're watching this, you'll be able to get a link back through to any of our social media pages where the sign up Eventbrite is, or you can kind of drop us a DM and we'll send you the details. We'll be at Alpha Tower or Alpha Works in Alpha Tower, which is right in Birmingham City Centre. So you couldn't kind of get more central, up on floor 21. Fantastic space, great views of the city. I know there's a couple of people coming in who kind of don't know Birmingham very well. So of course you're going to get fantastic views of all the city. We're 2-3 minute walk from New Street Station. So again, super accessible. So if you're catching this and you're not even from Birmingham and the West Midlands, you're from, I don't know, Liverpool or Cardiff, and you think, well, I want opportunities to expand to Latin America. Again, come along. This is not, although there's obviously a heavy West Midlands focus with where we are. This is an event for everybody. So please do feel free to come in and along. And I think that's it. I think we're done for today.
Okay, thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Jorge and Danielle, and hope that the event will be a success.
Thank you so much for having us. Ciao, ciao.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.